Number one, what is the first thing I want to talk about? The first thing I want to talk about in terms of what I've learned in launching a startup over the past month is that everything in this day and age is pretty much on your side when it comes to launching a startup. Now, what I mean by that is that it's truly a miracle in terms of the technological innovation that we've achieved as a human species, because what we've been able to do is make the process as simple as possible. Not the actual building of like the company and the product, that's still hard as hell, but the stuff that you need to get going has become so simplified to the point where you don't really have to stress that much in terms of actually getting the logistics done. You can actually focus on what you need to do. So what do I mean by that? A couple of points here. Number one, Amazon Web Services. Honestly, it's probably one of the most amazing technological innovations in the past decade. What this is, for those people who don't know, it's cloud computing from using Amazon servers, right? So Amazon, Google, and Microsoft, they all have different servers. Google has a Google Cloud, Microsoft has Microsoft Azure, Amazon has AWS. And what AWS does is it gives you the data the capabilities to host and save data and serve the actual thing you're running using Amazon's like machines or whatever they have in their cloud for a pretty cheap price. I mean, you have to pay Amazon to basically do it for you, but they execute everything. So we are building our entire startup on top of Amazon Web Services, and a lot of Fortune 500 companies, to be honest, use Amazon Web Services. The reason I'm bringing this up, because even if you don't understand the technical parts of AWS, which I don't even understand to that great of a degree, my co-founder, my CTO, they probably understand it a lot better, is just that AWS has simplified the ability for us to just get going on the process. 10 years ago, you had to literally stack servers, like stack boxes and like plug them in certain ways, because you have all this data, all this content flowing onto your company and onto your platform, usually if it's a software, which means you have to host that data, you have to transfer that data, you have to make sure that content is being able to be saved, you have to have storage space, all that type of stuff. And that had to be physical. With the revolution of the cloud in the past decade and the ability for Amazon to sort of like build out an entire infrastructure to support things that are on the cloud, that's all gone away. And it's so much more simpler now if you're trying to start a startup, because every, at least software internet company startup, needs to save data and host content and transfer data from different places on your platform, wherever it may be, whether it's a financial services B2B type of software, whether it's a content sharing platform, whether it's a video sharing, whatever it is. You've got to have something that runs the entire engine of it. And instead of having to physically hold all that stuff in some type of room with air coolers and stuff like that so it doesn't overheat, AWS does it for you, Amazon Web Service. I mean, we have about 2,000 pieces of content total on our platform, and I think we're paying like $1 for the storage cost. And that includes the photos, that includes the account information, that includes the actual audio that is on our platform. So, I mean, that to me is like incredible. The fact that it costs $1 to have that much content on a platform already, and 2,000 is not a lot in the grand scheme of things, but 2,000 pieces of content is 2,000 pieces of content that you're paying $1 for. Absolutely blows my mind, and it's truly just revolutionized everything. So the thing I'm trying to get at here with talking about Amazon Web Services is that the infrastructure to technologically build what you're trying to build does not have to be that complicated. You can use the existing resources. I mean, Amazon's like a $2 trillion company. Use their shit, right? And then build your shit on top of their shit, because they've made it so easy for you to build your own thing. And that didn't exist a decade ago. That did not exist in 2007, 2008, and it does now. And I'm incredibly bullish on just where technology is going, because if, they can make it so easy for us, the little guys, the guys that have nothing, to start doing something. If we can use their stuff to build our stuff, what can we do for other people, right? And that is sort of the optimism I have when it comes to technology and ultimately where it's going. The second point I want to make on this is that outside of Amazon Web Services, in terms of what it's been able to do, information on how to start a startup is everywhere. Literally everywhere. I just got a degree from four-year university, four-year business school, and I don't regret the degree. Like, I don't regret the time I spent in college. I thought it was meaningful, had a lot of good social experiences. Part of my life I'm never going to get back, because now I'm just working every day, and there were some days where I just got to chill and go to the bar and so those days are gone. It was kind of like a little vacation for 4 years. Even though I was working those 4 years, I was working every year for those 4 years really, really hard. with different jobs. I was helping pay for college. But anyway, the point is, it was fun to go to college, but it wasn't, you know, I'm teaching myself everything that I'm teaching myself now. So the point of college was the degree, obviously, and if you want to go be like an investment banker or something, you need a good degree. But if you're trying to do something, like actually do something, not snort cocaine and be an investment banker, like i.e. build something, college, like there was literally zero value for it. Again, I don't regret it because the degree is always the safety and all that stuff. But YouTube is the world's greatest database of information. And whenever I've had a question on how to start a startup, whenever I've just wanted to hear more lectures, more speeches, more ideas from all these different people that have done it before, you literally just go to this website called youtube.com, you type it in, and boom, it's there in front of you for free. At the very least, you have to listen to a 15-second advertisement. That, to me, blows my mind. I mean, it just blows my mind. I can't explain it. It literally blows my mind. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because whenever I've had a question on how to start a startup, I've always gotten the answer. Yeah, like I've always gotten the answer. So, for example, we had to get into some legal stuff in terms of incorporating our startup, right? Because when you start a startup, you have to incorporate it, usually with the state of Delaware, especially if you're trying to raise venture capital, and then you have to buy shares of your own stock from that startup. So you have to file specific paperwork. You have to do this. You have to do that. All that stuff was just on YouTube. The information was there for free. And you take in the information and then you execute it. So that's one example, right? Legal stuff that actually matters. The second part is like growth strategies, right? We launched on April 5th. How do we grow from here now, right? The number one problem as soon as you launch a startup is like, okay, we got it out into the world. No one cares about it. No one's using it, right? No one's engaging with it. How to get users? Type in how to get users on your startup. Boom, 70,000 different videos. Not all of them are amazing, but a lot of them are having helpful little tidbits here and there on how you can actually grow your user base for your startup. That's important because they're perspectives and things that I didn't know before. You know, there was no class in college called how to grow your startup or how to get users through growth hacking. And even if there was, you probably wouldn't remember it for all these years from now, right? Unless you took some notes. And like, who like really reads through looking at their notes, or unless you're memorizing something. I'm more of a person who engages through audio. I listen to something, I consume it, and then I'm able to conceptualize it. And on YouTube, there's just all this free information there that has helped me understand how to build better strategies to grow my startup. And you know, our numbers have been pretty good. In a month, we've gotten around 600 people. It's actually that have actually signed up to use the platform. Not all of them are engaging every day. Obviously, not all of them are posting, but goodness, I mean, 600 people in a month is pretty cool. You know, obviously, I have really high expectations, but sometimes you have to step back and be like, I literally taught myself how to do this. I did this, and then this result happened. And that's a pretty amazing thing. And all of that came just by looking up stuff, right? My point is, all of this information is out there. Whenever I've been down, or like, you know, I needed some more motivation, or just like someone telling me that it's going to be hard, but that's okay. It's like, you just look up these motivational speeches, and they're not even speeches. They're just like entrepreneurs who have been through before. So they're able to give a little bit more perspective, and all that information, again, is there for free, and you just have to consume it. Content, when it comes to building something, is everywhere. There are no excuses, literally no excuses, in terms of, I don't know how to do it, therefore I'm not going to do it. Whether you do it or not, I think now is just a question on just like if you want to do it in this day and age. Like the idea that there's no information, there's lack of resources. Yeah, there's lack of like literal resources, but in terms of the knowledge you need to at least get started, to like get things going, the openness of the internet and the vast amount of information that is there is so abundant that it makes zero sense to act as if you can't do something because knowledge or information is the barrier to entry. It's like, it's not. There are plenty of other barriers to entry that you have to care about, and that's kind of, you know, motivational for me, and or like, it makes me more optimistic to know that if I lose, it's not because I didn't know how to do something, it's because I sucked at it, or because I didn't execute correctly. That's a tough pill to swallow, but that's the pill that you've got to swallow. I mean, that's the game that we're playing, right? So the amount of information that exists, the amount of knowledge that is out there, the amount of resources that are there when it comes to literally Y Combinator, which is like an incubator for startups, has a 20-part series on how to build a startup that they conducted in Stanford back in 2015 or 2014. And they recorded each of those 20 lectures, and it's on, you know, YouTube or Spotify or whatever. Like, it's just there, right? It's there. and you just listen to these people and you take your information and then you understand it and then you try to implement some of this stuff and you keep the ball rolling. So there is so much information out there that it is the best time in history to start a startup because you have all the tools at your fingertips. You just have to go consume it and then be excited to consume it and really engage with the content and then take it from there.